always got moles who refuse to talk to us, waiters and others at the hotels until they're rudely treated like garbage. The memos we've confirmed that Jim has literally snuck out before him and shot at in Portugal to get, where, warning shots where they're not allowed to look Hillary Clinton and others in the eyes. People are in the presence of this evil, and their human instinct for survival, they instantly come to our side and give us all the data. And the globalists should know it's only going to intensify. Agents of liberty, eternal agents of freedom, agents that literally carry the spark of God's love in their hearts for their children and our cultures are everywhere. And the globalists have their legions of paid-off scum and psychopaths and sociopaths and bullies and control freaks. But it's always free humanity that isn't rallied until things get really bad. And then good people finally come out of their trance, wake up, and that's why the evil ones are so scared of good people, because they want to intimidate us and make us feel weak, because they can literally, at a spiritual, instinctive level, we are like 1,000-foot giants to them because we're in the right. And the wicked flee when none pursue. Well, we are pursuing, and that's why they flee and hide, Mark Anderson.
Yeah, I think that for all their great wealth, they're the poorest people on the planet. They're culturally and in their soul, in their intellects, in their spirit, they're poorer than dirt. And I think they know that. All they have is money and power, which are ephemeral things that slip away. I think they sense their own mortality individually and collectively. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. They're not going to get away with this because we're not going to let them. It's just that simple. And, even if they were meeting for the best of reasons and everything was peaches and cream, you're still not supposed to have secret decisions being made. See, that's what people don't understand. Secrecy is never good, even if the best intentions are there. And we know they don't have the best intentions, so it's a double whammy. It's just there's no way they can explain their way out of this. It's undemocratic. It's wrong. Even if they're voting to send money to the poor every week, they need to do it in the open. But openness to them is just anathema. They don't even understand what that's about. It's just it's almost sad. I mean, they're really. I pity them as much as I loathe them.
Well, you're right. Mark Anderson, looking at the agenda, for folks that just joined us, we're covering Bilderberg 2011, a day that will be remembered for a long time. Very exciting, the equivalent of a Ron Paul of Switzerland. That's what he's known as, heading up one of the cantons. And again, their states then combine to make the federal government. It's direct state rule, people rule, what the Republic once had through the states until the globalists took over in 1913 and got rid of the 17th Amendment for the states to send in the U.S. senators. He's basically the equivalent of that for folks that don't understand the U.S. Republic before it was taken over and understand the Swiss system. But expanding on that, Mark, recapping how big this is, we're going to put, when we can, the letter back on screen that's been delivered by Luke-Rudkowski, and later today, in the next few hours, the leader of this canton is going to come there. He's already sent it out to the prosecutors, the police. He's told them, look, you're in violation of law. I'm coming. I'm your boss. Look out. This is a showdown. This is a showdown. This is big.
It's major. It's heartening to see. And this is the right country for it to happen in. They don't belong here. As I said, it's retrograde to what they believe. And, they're in the wrong environment, and it provides the right opportunity to present them with the right rebuke, the right defense of the common man. And it's time for the common man to win a few. They've had their day in the sun. It's time for them to pack it in.
Any other key points you'd like to add about what you've observed? Editor, I know you work as a visiting editor and a lot of other things. In fact, what is your title in American Free Press? I know you're a radio talk show host, too, and I've interviewed you many times. Mark, what's your title over there?
I'm editor. Jim Tucker's editor emeritus. He's semi-retired, but he still covers Bilderberg. And I'm editor, and we're a team now. I'm sort of inheriting the baton from him, more or less. And well, I think that what we're talking about today is the key developments, and what I talked about earlier, where the legislator who's rebuking and confronting Bilderberg tried to get the local and federal police from stopping Bilderberg from meeting here in the first place. But maybe it's almost better that didn't happen, because if that didn't happen, or if that would have happened had they not met here, then he wouldn't be evidently approaching them and, confronting them with this letter. So maybe this is the way God intended it, And certainly I think that the specific issues that Bilderberg wants to discuss include whether to continue the wars in Afghanistan and Libya. It always includes energy matters, monetary matters. Will the I'm sure that meeting in Switzerland, they're going to think about Switzerland being this, odd man out and not fitting into their global straitjacket. Everything is a lot less secret about Bilderberg than it used to be, but it's still hard to discern, of course, unless you're in there, exactly what they're talking about. They do have a quasi-official website where they list a quasi-official set of topics, but, they're very misleading. There's one in there right now on their official website, something like Switzerland. Will it be successful in the future? You could read that a lot of different ways, real innocuous-sounding topics. And so it always sounds dry and academic, if you read their own literature. But, of course, there's much more to it, and the secrecy is the enduring problem. So that's essentially what we've got so far. And the rest is just a lot of legwork, confirming who's there.
Okay.
How,
well, Mark,
what list they're... Yeah.
Mark Anderson, we've got Jim Tucker on the line with us. We're going to let you go. But stay close to my guys because I want to get you to pop in coming up later in the broadcast. But, Mark, thank you so much. We'll continue to watch your work at AmericanFreePress.net. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Pass the baton to Jim. We'll see you, Alex.
Okay, thank you, sir. Here is Jim Tucker, the original Bilderberg sleuth. Jim, good to have you here with us.
It's always a pleasure.
Jim, how big is this that this top Swiss leader has sent the letter demanding that Kissinger basically be arrested and that the police follow the Swiss Constitution and honor the press, and that he is now in the next few hours preparing to make his way there to try to basically force his way into the Bilderberg Group meeting?
Well, several people saw such a vehicle approach. On the other hand, there's several ways they advertised. They could have taken it in the ambulance from the airplane to a car parked somewhere else and slide in that way. But Kissinger's definitely there. He was identified.
Yeah, he's the heart of Bilderberg, along with Rockefeller and Queen Beatrix. What do you make of the announcement that this leader of a canton, as high level as it gets, other than the Prime Minister of Switzerland, is going to confront them, Jim? Have you heard this news?
Yes, our guy's been reported that he plans a confrontation, and it should be a lot of fun, too. I guess he'll have to stand outside the gates until they come out, because they'll have it sealed off inside. And they could throw him in jail if he bucks the line. In fact, they have jailed a couple of people already who tried to walk through against orders, took one guy's passport away. They're playing rough.
But in Switzerland, though, these canton leaders, that'd be like Speaker of the House, or that'd be like Ron Paul, showing up at a Bilderberg Group meeting in Chantilly and demanding to be let in.
Yes, it'd be analogous to that, certainly.
Well, this is huge. Have you ever seen anything like this in your 35 years of covering the Bilderberg scum?
Never has so high a statesman so publicly challenged Bilderberg.
I tell you, this is if they were running scared earlier in the week, Jim, they've heard of this. Do you think they're doing what in their underwear?
Oh yes, I'm sure they have bowel problems. Starting late anyway because the cloud cover keeping the helicopters away, and not letting the helicopters get to St. Marie. So they had to do a lot of long-distance driving, and some planes were able to land at the small airport later. But they were a full day late getting started. And they all have to duck and run on Monday because their cover meetings. NATO is one cover meeting, as you know, and that way the Secretary of Defense can duck into Bilderberg and then go home. But the reason he was over here was NATO, and no word mentioned about the Bilderberg meeting, of course.
Jim, in closing, you got much of their internal agenda now. Big news in the U.S. Time Magazine, Newsweek, CNBC, DrudgeReport.com. Congratulations on the great job that they've been picking up our reportage via you. What can you tell us? Any other intel from your moles? We were told by some of the Swiss folks that have moles that they're getting a lot of intel from the wait staff and others that are disgusted by Bilderberg.
Yes, and I'm having daily telephone conversations with my mole inside. I'm allowed to say that he is on the inside of both trilateral and Bilderberg meetings. I recognize the voice. I don't know his name. I don't want to know his name. That's why we set it up years ago. If they put me on a torture rack, I cannot name him because I really do not know his name. I know his voice, and his information has always been proven by history. I mean, history's confirmed everything he's ever told me. So it's.
Why do you think this mole for many, I know more than a decade, and then you also get the wait staff and others to later help you, that's why you stay a few days after. Why do you think you were originally approached?
Well, I think this guy decided that Bilderberg ought to be exposed. Probably agrees also that they're evil people, although he's apparently on the staff of someone who attends both meetings. And so I don't know how old he is, how young he is, how fat, short, or tall he is, and I don't want to know that either. So that
that means upper cream, though, that for those that don't know, if he's in both Trilateral and Bilderberg, that's steering committee level level Bilderberg that this person serves.
It could be, but I don't want the Bilderberg boys to.
No, I understand. What did the mole give you anything else that's on the agenda? Because there's always things that are off the agenda that are on the agenda. Did the mole tell you anybody that's off the list that's there?
Oh, yes, there's several people who were not on the list, as in the Secretary of Defense Gates. Also, Bill Gates, the computer nerd, self-made millionaire, he's not on the Bilderberg list. He's there. And these people were 100% identified by sight. We're 100% on this.
Hillary was in Europe until about a day ago. She's now in Africa. Any intel on Hillary? They're moving to get her into the World Bank. Any word on her sneaking in for a few hours?
No, we have not learned that. It's possible she has. She did once before, as I think we discussed it yesterday when she attended the meeting. And
yes, we did. In closing, Jim Tucker, any other intel that you can give us, my friend, on what is going on inside Bilderberg? Anything else your mole gave us? The world is listening.
No more than I gave you yesterday. I'm sorry to say, although it's being amplified all day, the arguments over whether to keep the interest rates at the IMF up or down, to raise them a little bit, to stave off inflation, or to keep them down. They're arguing over that. They're unified on the war project, with rationalization that the world is too crowded anyway. We have to limit the population growth, and one way to do it is with our wars. So they've been amplifying that all day, and also they're outraged at American and European patriots are out there protesting outside the gates. And there's another big demonstration going on now that Mark is attending.
Incredible. Jim Tucker, AmericanFreePress.net. We salute you. Thank you so much for spending time with us, my friend.
My pleasure.